Good morning, guys. I hope everybody doing fine. I welcome back again to all of you for today's session. So today's session we are going to discuss very important topic in Excel. So today topic going to base on pivot table. So what is pivot table basically? What is the use of the pivot table and what is the main purpose for using the pivot table? So let's see. In this session, we learn to summarize data at macro level and project difference in data. So this is end of chapter. So here you can see the case studies like Harry, the sales manager at Paul Furniture Sales Company, want to generate the report that contain the total sales made in 2010 against client name Global IIT, right? So here, Paul Furnitures is a company, right? Whereas the Harry is a sales manager inside the company. He also want to include the details such as product and sales person name in the report. Thus, he decided to perform the following task and analyze the organization's sales data to filter and retrieve the record for the transaction done in 2010. Extract the record for the transaction made against Global IIT from the record of the transaction made in 2010. Calculate the product wise total sales, average sales for the transaction made in 2010 against Global IIT. How can Harry accomplish this preceding task? So to help Harry accomplish this task, let's first understand what is micro level analysis. Micro level is what a small level. A detailed analysis of information was required, like filtering the record to a minute level, such as particular region or particular date, is known as a micro level analysis. Obviously, suppose you're looking for a particular region wise, particular date wise, so this is called micro level. I mean, small level analysis. Suppose I want to see the cells date wise. Suppose I want to see the cells in which region, right? So it's a small level analysis. To analyze the data at micro level, you need to have a different views of data. To perform a micro level analysis, the information should be presented in dynamic format. Dynamic format means what? Dynamic format means you are able to change, you can change it. That is called dynamic format. We are able to modify. To present the vast volumes of information to perform quick and dynamic analysis, Excel provide the pivot table features. Excel allows the represent the pivot table reports graphically by using the pivot chart features as well. So we are going to the pivot chart if you want to graphical representation of data. So as you can see the screenshot as well, pivot table and pivot chart here. So let's discuss what is pivot table basically, what is it? Let's define first. So pivot tables report is created to summarize the data present in the data source. So pivot table basically what does? It just summarize the data. What do you mean by summarize? Like very simple example, suppose I have a product, product ID, product name, product sales, product price, right? So once I put the product IDs, it will summarize all the data. What is the name of the product? What is the product price? What is the sales? What is the quantity? Right? So pivot table basically work like a dashboard. What is it? Pivot table basically work like a dashboard. Okay? Where we are able to filter the data, right? Where we are able to summarize the data. Before creating a pivot table report, decide the data source for which the report need to be created and then create a pivot table. Okay. A report either in an existing worksheet or in a new worksheet. I mean, you can create in existing, even you can create a in new. So, like as I told the dashboard, what is dashboard? Dashboard, there is a collection of component, right? Where we can do the data analysis, where we can analyze the data as per our requirement, right? To create a pivot table report in the worksheet, you need to use the pivot table button in the table group under the insert tab. So where pivot table option will available? Insert tab. Okay. Next, Excel allows to perform the various operation on a pivot table report such as changing the data source of the report and the inserting slicer to filter the report interactively. To perform such operation on pivot table report, you need to work with the pivot table tool and contextual tab which appear in the ribbon only when cell is selected in the pivot table report. Okay. So when pivot table report is inserted in worksheet, the pivot table field span is displayed as shown in the following figure. So as you can see, once you insert this is your pivot table field span, it's going to look alike. The pivot table field span allow you to organize the pivot table reports, and the pivot table field span also allow you to filter the data contained in reports. Next one, section of the pivot table field span, drag fields between area below, choose fields to add to report, filter, column, rows, and values. Okay. Next, the pivot table tools are conceptual tab allow you to perform various operations on the pivot table reports. Pivot table tool analyze. It contains the option work with the data containing in the report. It contains the following groups like pivot tables, active fields, group, filter, data, action, calculation tool, and so. So once you're going to modify, once you're going to customize the pivot table, in that case, we are going to the pivot table tool analyze where you can analyze the data. Pivot tool design where you're going to design the pivot table format. You can change the layout of the table, pivot table. It contains the option to set the layout and style of the pivot table report. It contains the following group. Okay, like layout, pivot table style, and option. Okay, so Excel allow you to filter data in pivot table reports by using the filter area and the insert slicer option. So we are going to insert the slicer also. So in pivot table, we are going to combine the three tools: pivot table features, right? Pivot table chart features, and slicer features, where we are able to filter the data. When you add the data fields to the filter area in the pivot table reports, the data fields with the filter in the display in the pivot table report. Okay. So in next video, we are going to see practically how we are going to perform this pivot table fields. So this was the